Ezra chapter 6. So King Darius ordered a search through the records in the archives in Babylon. Eventually, a scroll was turned up in the fortress of Ecbatana, over in the province of Media, with this written on it. Memorandum. In his first year as king, Cyrus issued an official decree regarding the temple of God in Jerusalem as follows. The temple where sacrifices are offered is to be rebuilt on new foundations. It is to be 90 feet high and 90 feet wide, with 3 courses of large stones topped with 1 course of timber. The cost is to be paid from the royal bank. The gold and silver vessels from the temple of God that Nebuchadnezzar carried to Babylon are to be returned to the temple at Jerusalem, each to its proper place. Place them in the temple of God. Now listen, Tattenai, governor of the land beyond the Euphrates, Shethar-Bozenai, associates, and all officials of that land, stay out of their way. Leave the governor and leaders of the Jews alone so that they can work and that the temple of God, so they can work on that temple of God as they rebuild it. I hereby give official orders on how you are able to help the leaders of the Jews in the rebuilding of that temple of God. 1. All construction costs are to be paid to these men from the royal bank out of the taxes coming in from the land beyond the Euphrates, and pay them on time without delays. 2. Whatever is required for their worship, young bulls, rams and lambs for whole burnt offerings to the God of heaven, and whatever wheat, salt, wine and anointing oil the priests of Jerusalem request, is to be given to them daily without delay, so that they may make sacrifices to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his sons. I've issued an official decree that anyone who violates this order is to be impaled on a timber torn out of his own house, and the house itself made a manure pit. And may the God who puts his name on that place wipe out any king or people who dares to defy this decree and destroy the temple of God at Jerusalem. I, Darius, have issued an official decree. Carry it out precisely and promptly. Tattenai, governor of the land across the Euphrates, Shethar-Bozenai and their associates did it. They carried out the decree of Darius precisely and promptly. So the leaders of the Jews continued to build. The work went well under the preaching of the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, son of Iddo. They completed the rebuilding under the orders of the God of Israel and authorization by Cyrus, Darius and Artaxerxes, kings of Persia. The temple was completed on the 30th day of the month of Adar in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. And then the Israelites celebrated. Priests, Levites, every last exile exuberantly celebrated the dedication of the temple of God. At the dedication of the temple of God, they sacrificed 100 bulls, 200 rams and 400 lambs, and as an absolution offering for all the Israelites, 12 he-goats, 1 for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. They placed the priests in their divisions and the Levites in their places for the service of God at Jerusalem, all as written out in the book of Moses. On the 14th day of the first month, the exiles celebrated the Passover. All the priests and Levites had purified themselves, all, no exceptions. They were all ritually clean. The Levites slaughtered the Passover lamb for the exiles, their brother priests, and themselves. Then the Israelites who had returned from exile, along with everyone who had removed themselves from the defilements of the nations to join them and seek God, the God of Israel, ate the Passover. With great joy they celebrated the Feast of Unraised Bread for 7 days. God had plunged them into a sea of joy. He had changed the mind of the king of Assyria to back them in rebuilding the temple of God, the God of Israel.